Everyone, welcome to BetTurtle. Today we're going to go through how the BetTurtle horseshoe ratings work. We'll give you some explanation about what the horseshoe ratings are for and how you can use them to good effect to help you with your winner finding. So here we are on the BetTurtle race card screen, the main screen. We're going to just scroll down and choose a race. In this case I'm going to choose the Bangor 130 today. Bring up the card and here's the main race card. I'm not going to go through all of the features, we'll do that in other videos, but over here we have the BetTurtle race cards that we want to, horseshoes that we want to focus on. What I'm going to do is explain each of these columns, what they mean, explain the colours of the horseshoes and these rosettes down the side to explain what they mean to you. So let's start with the fitness column here. Fitness column basically answers the question, is the horse likely to run to its best form today? Yeah. So if we look at this one, it's a red horseshoe. Red horseshoes mean that we've got serious concerns about the answer to that question. So if you look at Take the Cash, for example, it's not run for 193 days, so warning signs flash, it may need the race, or it's had a mishap if it's been off that long. It's more likely to be just a seasonal debut after a break. So we've looked at this and we think, yeah, based on the stables, first time out record, various other factors, we think the rating of this horse is red. If you actually look at the market, we also look at the market view. If we saw this was green all of a sudden, then we'd sort of maybe take a less strong view in it, and it may go amber, it may go green, because our confidence, if there's market support behind it, would be improved. If we then look at the amber rating down here, we've got Queen Spud, and it ran 21 days ago, so you might be asking, oh, why is that being flagged as amber? Well, what amber means is we've got some doubts that it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. And if we look at the last race of this horse, we just go in here and look at its form. We can see that it ran last time after a 160-day break, so it last ran in July before that race. In this particular race it came second, beating 15 lengths. It may not have ran up to its potential form at this point, so it may have still needed the run. But I think the thing that's probably made this go amber, again, it's got red rating here, which sort of suggests it's pretty weak in the market for what we'd expect. So we have some doubts, but they may change throughout the day. If it starts getting market support, then that may go green. Okay, so that's what the amber rating means. If we just pick the green rating now, we've got Dartford Warbler, who ran 38 days ago. If we sort of check his form, what we're seeing here is it's ran in September, it's ran in October, so it's two recent runs. It's won one of them, it's come seconds, so the horse is in form. So from our point of view, there's no reason why it shouldn't run well again. It's okay and steady in the market, so positive signs for this horse from a fitness point of view. So moving on to the ability column, this is answering the question, does the horse have the proven ability or the potential to win a race like this today? So let's start with the red one again. We've got Gamain here. We basically go in, we'll have a look through. You can see it's won one race, it has won in the class, etc. But based on some factors that we look at, it ran poorly last time. And it's also weak in the betting market as well. As you can see here, we've got concerns about its ability to win today's race, so we've flagged it red. We've then got an amber one here, Take the Cash again. You can see it by looking at its form figures, it's won over the distance, it's won over the going, it's pretty rightly raced, and it's steady in the market. So on its form and its ability and its potential, then yeah, there are some question marks. That's why it's amber. It's because it's probably unexposed, might need to improve a bit to win the race. So that's why we've flagged it amber. Again, if we look at our friend here, Dartford Warbler, who happens to be our win tip today, we go into his form and we just bring up the table. We can see it's won 3 times out of 7 in the class. It's won over the distance twice. It's got a pretty good strike rate of 20% overall. And we think the horse is well handicapped here, and it ran well last time. So there's a lot of things in its favour today. Still may not win, but from what we've seen, it's pretty good, and it's steady in the market too. So hence why that's green. So hopefully that gives you a good flavour of what the ability rating's about. And if we now move on to the conditions, the CONDS stands for conditions. And this looks at answers the questions: will the go and the track, the distance, the jockey booking, etc. Does that suggest that the horse has got the conditions to suit today to run to its best? And as you can see in this particular race, our conclusion is that most of them have. We don't see any reasons why they shouldn't run well. If you look at a red rating here, would be that they may have ran a lot of times on the go and the distance and not run to form, so we'd have question marks. An amber rating basically means that it may be unexposed, never tried the trip, could improve for it, but there are question marks. And a green is that it has run some of its best races over these conditions today with the jockeys, etc. So you can be pretty confident. So these three horseshoes they've just gone through. Obviously, that's your gives you a good view of the horse's ability, suitability to the conditions, and its fitness. So you should be reasonably confident about these. However, as we know in racing, sometimes things don't work out to plan. So you will see at times 3 red horseshoes winning as well as the 3 green ones. So it's always worth looking at and asking the question why that happened, so we can all learn from it, and that's what we do at BetTurtle. The last 2 columns, we've got the vibes column, and the vibes column looks at does the industry, do the press, do the trainers, jockeys, etc. Is there positive vibes coming out of those people to sort of suggest that this horse is going to run well today? So again, if we look at the red ones, that sort of suggests that this red horseshoe suggests that there's not much vibes flying around, nobody's saying much, they're not being tipped much in the national press, etc. So we mark that red. Amber, again, if we see some support, like some tipsters, 1 or 2 maybe saying, yeah, we like this horse, or giving it some good reviews. And then on green, we may see lots of tipsters tipping this one, good words from the trainers, all that good stuff. So that's what makes those things go. And it saves you having to look at the market to read everything. We do it for you. On the market side, again, what we do with these horseshoes, if it's red, it's significantly drifted in the market. So throughout the day, we've seen big odds changes. Also, if it's a bigger price than we'd expect, then we flag that, we'd be worried about it. And then on amber, it's pretty steady in the market. It may have some slight negative or positive movements, but not much to shout about. And then if it goes green, which we haven't gotten anywhere here, it's a significant market move. So there's been significant support for that horse throughout the day, or it's a lot shorter than we'd expect. Okay, so your confidence on that horse should go up. What I would say though is, because the tendency is for people to jump on the green ones, but they don't always win, and sometimes the value has already gone. But when the green, that suggests that there's been a lot of shortening of the odds. So whilst it may increase its chance of winning, what you might find is that the price isn't worth the risk. So sometimes it's worth looking at the ambers and the red ones, just to see if you can get a little bit more value out of them. And you'll sometimes see our tips that we've tipped in the morning drifting out to red. So if you see our tips, which are typically on there early in the morning, and we don't change them throughout the day, then if you see them being red and the horseshoes are going red, then start getting worried. I personally wouldn't be putting them on, but they do still win. But it should be a warning signal to you. Okay, so that sort of explains the horseshoes. What I want to do now is just explain the rosettes here. We use the word pick, which is meaning selection, and what we've done is we sort of basically rank based on the horseshoe colours our what would be our selections. So we've got first here Dartford Wobbler, second Serpent, and third Take the Cash. These what happens with BetTurtle, we constantly monitor the vibes and market the conditions. So if things change, then these horseshoes would change, and therefore we'd recalculate these. That can be a bit confusing for people. So especially when we've tipped something in the morning or each way you go, some of you are asking why are you then changing things here. But we've took the decision that we want to make sure people are given the latest information at all times. And as I said, if you can sort of just check things before you bet. I know some of you have to bet in the morning or the night before because of work. But if you can, look at stuff before you put things on. This will give you the latest information. And that's how to use these horseshoes to best effect. Some of you have also asked, how do you see the results? How do you know how we did with these horseshoes after the race is finished? Because what happens at the end, as some of you will notice, that the pick, once the race is finished, becomes the result, and we sort of put the finishing position, distance beaten in this column. But if you actually go here after the race is finished and then go to ratings, at the moment this is giving you a really good summary view of the odds, the prices. We've got a problem that we need to fix, just spotted. But we've got a good summary view of what we think at this point. But after the racing's finished, what will happen is these will order in race order, so the winner will be up here and the last will be down here. But we keep the pick values and the horseshoes. So you should be able to see what we were picking just before the race off time. And that gives you a good view of how successful we've been. Most of the time you will see that one of our top three have won the race. Sometimes you won't. But what we are looking for is learning. So sometimes we ask ourselves, why did these horses not win? And why did this particular horse win? And we take that learning back into our calculations for the future. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a good view of the BetTurtle horseshoes and how they work. I'm sure some of you have still got some other questions or some comments. So if you have, then please either post things on Facebook, Twitter, or just mail us, and we'll get back to you with some answers. So hopefully that was useful, and keep in touch. Thank you.